Hi YouTube, today I wanted to share a little bit of garden maintenance that I do to keep my garden healthy and producing for me. I've mentioned that I do gardening partly because it's my hobby and partly because it's a frugal thing to do. So I wanted to share a couple things that I do to maintain my garden, and one of them today I'm going to talk about is pest management on my squash plants. So there's two kinds of bugs that I struggle with. One is the squash vine borer, which I'm not going to talk about. I don't quite have a handle on how to find their eggs and how to really deal with them. But the other thing that also happens to my squash plants every year is the squash bugs. They lay their eggs on the squash plants and they come out by the, well, maybe not the hundreds, but they come out. There's just tons of them. So you'll see some of the examples. I'll show you some of the eggs that the squash bugs have already laid in my plants, on the leaves of the plants, and I just wanted to give you an idea of how to find them and how to quickly get rid of them so you can protect your squash plants and hopefully they continue producing squash for you. So let me show you some of the eggs that I've found and show you how I treat them. So let me show you what the eggs look like. And one thing I do want to mention, that sometimes I have had it where the eggs are laid on the top of the leaf. I will say the majority of the time it's on the bottom of the leaf, but just 2 days ago I was cleaning some of my other squash plants and I found them on the top of the leaves. So they could be anywhere, but I do normally look at the back of the leaf and that's where I normally find them. So for example, this one, you can see these eggs. That is the squash vine borer eggs. I hate bugs, so I really want to get rid of these before they start growing and actually hatch. To me, they look kind of like stink bugs, if you're familiar with them, but they are different. So here, if you can see my squash plant that is growing, and I really do want to be able to get squash off of it. So if these eggs hatch, they will start just really killing the plant. So I do take time, like I said, every day or every other day, and I look at these. The other thing I learned, and I learned this from M.I. Gardner, was as this plant continues to grow, and I am going to try to have it grow vertically rather than along the ground, and I'm going to try to attach it to this little pole that I have attached right next to the plant. But I did learn this from M.I. Gardner, or I think it was pretty much M.I. Gardner, not sure, but that you can start getting rid of the bottom leaves so the plant has air. Like, so as the plant continues to grow, I will remove the bottom leaves. As it goes up and up, these bottom leaves can be removed. But right now the plant looks pretty healthy, so I'm not going to do anything to it. But like I said, I continue to look pretty regularly for the squash vine eggs. So let me just share with you what I do to remove them. So my tool of choice is packing tape, and as I've mentioned, I am going to be moving soon, so I have boatloads of packing tape. I actually tried this with duct tape and I didn't have as much luck with duct tape, but I guess you could try really any tape. But I basically get this packing tape and this is how I remove them. So let me just show you what I do. So I've got a piece of tape and the sticky side is right here, and I'm going to basically put this up against the leaf and try to get the eggs on with the sticky side onto the tape. As you can see here, sometimes it takes a couple tries to get all the eggs off, but I'm just going to keep applying the sticky side of the tape, and they are coming off. It's just taking a while. And some of them are harder to do because they're like stuck on the inside. Sometimes I do end up destroying part of the leaf to get all the eggs on here, but as you can see, I got them all on here. The next thing I do is basically close this tape onto itself. And now these eggs have no air and they will not hatch. They will just die in the sticky tape, and of course I just throw it in the trash. Well, I've gone through all of my squash plants and their leaves, and these are the ones I found and was able to remove. I just wanted to give you an idea. You can see on this one, the bugs. I did have to take off a big piece of the leaf because they were right along the edge and they wouldn't come off no matter what I do. I normally try to not damage the leaves, but sometimes I have to do that. And I think it's a small price to pay to keep them from damaging the plant. But you can see how many eggs there are. I mean, I feel like there's gotta be like at least 50 eggs. So I've at least stopped 50 squash bugs from coming out. And then of course also, you know, repopulating themselves. So I feel pretty good about the ones I got, but this is a really quick, easy method of doing this. And it's something that you can do in like a few minutes. I hope you found this video helpful and that you now know how to identify squash bugs and at least one method of removing them. I know that my plants will eventually succumb to something, some other pest, maybe the squash vine borer or some other, basically just the weather, but I like to keep them alive for as long as possible and like to get as much squash off of them as I can. So this is definitely a quick, easy way that you can protect your plants and prolong their life. If you found this video helpful, please remember to like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you.